For more on the worsening humanitarian situation in Lebanon, we can cross now to Beirut to speak with Etty Higgins. She's the Deputy Representative at UNICEF in Lebanon. Good to have you with us, Etty. Now, the death toll continues to mount. Could you give us an idea about the scale of civilian casualties since the conflict escalated?
Indeed, over the past 12 days alone, there's more than 1,000 people have been killed and 6,000 injured, according to the figures from the Ministry of Health last night. Unfortunately, during this past week, we had one day where there was 50 children alone were killed. So we're really seeing a mounting death toll among children, and we believe that this might be actually higher, given that many children and their families remain under the rubble in different parts of the country. The bombardments continued again last night, and since Friday, we've seen an escalated increase in the conflict around Beirut, especially in the southern suburbs. So we have seen tens of thousands of people on the move. And cumulatively this week, we believe that now there is more than 200,000 people that have moved. But the government this morning is saying that 1 million people have been impacted. We still see tens of thousands of people who are searching for shelter. As an emergency measure, the schools have been opened across the country to create temporary shelters. So now we have over 700 shelters, and over 500 of these are already full. So we're desperately looking for more places, exactly as your report highlighted, speaking to some of these civilians, and especially the mothers and children, looking for somewhere safe to go. It's been a very, very challenging number of days for frontline workers and humanitarian workers, and indeed government social services over the past 1 week, trying to provide emergency support to so many hundreds of thousands of people who are in such desperate need for food, for water, for shelter, for clothing, blankets, mattresses, absolutely everything. Even on Friday night, we still had people who were getting evacuation orders at 2 and 3 in the morning. So they were forced to pull their children from their beds to seek safety. So you can imagine that these families need absolutely everything.
So people are in dire needs of supplies. Are there enough food, water, and medical supplies going around at the moment?
Well, of course, we had, given that the conflict has been ongoing for some time now, we had pre-positioned and prepared supplies. We had put them across our warehouses in the different parts of the country. But just the sheer scale and speed of the displacement that we saw over the past 6-7 days has been really something unprecedented, and is depleting the resources very, very, very quickly, and putting services really under strain. So in particular, I would like to highlight the health situation. UNICEF flew in 100 metric tons of essential life-saving medical supplies last week, and we're now trying to get in another 25 metric tons of medical supplies this week. But it's very, very challenging given the limited number of aircraft coming into Lebanon at this time. But we desperately need to bring in more and pre-position more, and really lack the resources to do so. In addition, we also have the hospitals that are really flooded with injured patients. We have hospitals that have been damaged, that are being forced to evacuate their patients because of the areas where they're living are now dangerous. So we need to provide supplies. Mobile health teams need to support all of these people who have been displaced and now who are living, some of them spending their third night out in the open last night. So really a race against the clock to deliver a comprehensive, scaled up emergency response. In addition, we have the water situation, where we've seen this week many water pumping stations have been destroyed, water infrastructure being destroyed, and we have the towns and cities that have now massively increased pressure on their systems to provide clean drinking water to millions of people. And in some cases, as UNICEF, we've been supporting the water infrastructure in the country for a long time, and it's now difficult for us to provide fuel and to repair these locations due to the nature of the conflict and inability to access safe routes to go to these locations. So it is very, very challenging. In addition, this is September. It should be a time of year when children are being welcomed back to start the new school year. And now instead they're entering schools as internally displaced people with absolutely nothing. And their learning has again been interrupted. And this is coming, unfortunately, on the back of a crisis in Lebanon over the last number of years of the economic meltdown. And of course, with the Syrian refugee crisis, many refugees, over 1 million, have been here for more than a decade. So it's putting everything on a cumulative crisis that is now at risk of really becoming a humanitarian catastrophe that will have implications far beyond the borders of Lebanon.
A humanitarian catastrophe could be at hand. Well, Etty Higgins from UNICEF in Lebanon, thank you so much.
Thank you.